Hello everybody and welcome back to my vlog. This week I started out with doing my weighted pull-ups again, and I was very surprised with my handstand push-ups this time. I was able to get to a nice set of 3 of them with felt like minimal effort, but that fourth one just felt like it would not go at all. So going back to this brick approach where I put a yoga block down and tap my head in the yoga block, that's been very useful for me to not overextend the depth of my push-up and help me get out more reps and understanding of it. So I give you a recommendation to try that out if you get the chance to. Right here, this is something called a sissy squat. It's also called a knees over toe squat. It basically is just focusing mainly on the hips being tight and then bringing the knees over the toes, and emphasizes the quads. What you just saw there with the dumbbells was essentially a, I believe it's called a Romanian deadlift. It's just a stiff-legged deadlift. And I used it for both flexibility and targeting the hamstrings. That last push-up you saw, the last pull-up that you just saw was actually my first time in a while doing a set of 4 at body weight plus 62 pounds, so pretty happy about that. Right here, again, you saw me doing the handstand push-ups, but pretty consistent with that and felt good. And then finally, I went back to my sissy squats using the door as an assist, so I could just focus on reps. And then here we are doing some, I believe they are called Jefferson curls, with the back rounded versus straight. And finally finishing up with a high repetition with 20 pounds on the dumbbell. Just wanted to get a different perspective of the handstand push-up. You can see how much you have to really focus, and the balance is always the harder part of this skill specifically. Maintaining your balance throughout the entire exercise. Right there, I could not regain my balance and just fell on my head. And so I decided it was time to just go to doing assisted handstand push-up for the remainder of that workout. Right here, focusing on the curtsy lunge, just one leg behind the other. I find that these work very well for me, and I like the way they feel on my quads, and the inner thigh work is great with doing it. Right here, just some slow dips at my corner counter, and still recovering a little bit in the shoulders as I have been doing too much power move work. These are called ice cream scoops. They're going from a pull-up position into a front lever position, and they're just kind of a fun way to incorporate front lever into pulling training. And then the horse stance or sumo squat into horse stance with weight, a great way to train those abductors, abductors, so that you can kind of work on your split while developing your strength as well. And then just finishing on my arms with some Russian push-ups. And also some overhead pressing with the dumbbells to finish up my arms as well. One of the things I'm trying to get to with these vlogs is just showing the transparency of kind of the day-to-day practice that you have to do. I still do dumbbell rows. Right here is 50 plus 10 pounds on each arm, so roughly 60 pounds on each arm, and then finishing up with some dragon flags. I tried to do this by holding on to both my dumbbells at their full weight capacity, and I'm just barely able to have enough weight to hold myself down when I do them. And then, of course, one of my favorite things to do is these leg swings or leg lift swings. I think they're also called basket swings. In the corner of my kitchen, and then finishing up here again with some straight arm shoulder work. I did this both with palms facing up and palms turned inward to kind of get the outside lateral delt as well with this type of work. And this is just, again, to finish up the shoulders and kind of add a little bit of work to that toward the end. And then right here doing some T-flies. This is the second day actually. This is a Wednesday, and doing my normal warm-up of dynamic arm swings here. With this in mind, you will have to know I've been doing these for like 15, 20 years almost. I love this warm-up sequence, and it's so important for me to just remind everybody to have a consistent warm-up and never just go straight into stuff unless you feel that you're someone that can handle that. Everyone that I've known that trains long-term has developed some type of a warm-up routine that works specifically for them. Right here, I was not feeling my handstand push-ups today. My shoulder felt very weak, so I decided instead just to do the slow eccentrics and focus on that for the day. Obviously, I felt a little bit of fatigue in my shoulders, so I needed to back off from the heavy training. I did find that these interesting push-ups from the capoeira stance and also this one-arm push-up variation were feeling very good for me today, so I decided to incorporate these into my training for that day, and it made it fun and interesting and allowed me to get my arm into a different position than I normally do for this type of work. So I'm glad I decided to do that. Right here are my bridge push-ups. I find that these are just really great, especially if you're doing back handspring work or kip-ups or forward rolls. Having that position strong is going to be very, very beneficial to you. I highly recommend doing bridge push-ups and getting strong in that position. This is called a German hang. Basically, it's a skin the cat that you hold at the end position. And again, that was mostly done so that I could get some more flexibility and stretching into my shoulders because they were feeling a little bit beat up. And then right here, an external rotation and a hold on one arm and on the other arm to kind of let that chest really open up and just feel that shoulder really stretch out. It felt amazing and great. Highly recommend these for your rest days or healing up days. And then here I'm just doing a little flex. Every now and then I like to kind of check to see how I'm doing. You know, this is just to enjoy yourself and enjoy your body, and nothing really too great about it, but you know, if you feel like you look good, you might as well show off to yourself and enjoy yourself while you can. We don't live forever. You might as well enjoy what you have of yourself and be grateful for what you've created and worked on. On the end of Thursday, I decided to do some outdoor training and got out to do some acrobatics outside. Here I'm just warming up for my standing back tucks. I love doing training on grass, nice soft grass, and these back tucks, usually this ends up being this way. Like they turn out okay. Obviously I'm landing them, which is great, but they felt a little bit low. And so what I wanted to do was emphasize the extension of the knees, the quads, on these next couple of them, and they allowed me to jump a lot higher and get a more vertical back tuck. So emphasizing just the squeezing of the quads while jumping allowed me to get a much, much better rotation and standing up position. And you can see how that's reflected in these landing positions here. All of these felt really strong and were very good landings. Here I'm still working on developing my cart full from the side cartwheel rebound approach. This was the first day I started feeling a lot better about the heel drive and working on doing the front Arabian or front half while not grabbing the legs, which has allowed me to focus on the heel drive more, and also the height in this. So these were all feeling like they were landing pretty low, but I did feel really strong with the push of my heels over the top. Again, just building that awareness here was the goal. On every single one of them, not every single one was good, but that right there, that's called a late twist. You can see right here, I'm waiting to twist until I feel like I know that I've started my flip and my rotation, and then pulling that last bit of twist around the outside there. It's, again, all I'm trying to do here is get strong, consistent rotation in what I'm doing so that I know my skill. I know what it feels like to do it correctly, and that way I have a better understanding and baseline for how I'm feeling day to day. Right here, just working on my flash gainer, cheat gainer, whatever the heck you want to call it, and doing that from a scoot approach as well. What I noticed about myself when I was doing these is I was focusing too much on trying to stick my landing, and so instead I started to focus on just trying to stand up quickly and following through, so then I didn't have to think too much about that landing position and just let myself come out of it a little more naturally. It felt a lot better and wasn't impacting my leg as much, so that was great. I would eventually like to bring this into my corkscrews again, but I need to feel very comfortable with this setup so I don't have to think about it when I'm doing it. I was not satisfied with my full twists, so I really wanted to get some training in of this, so I decided to do this on Friday. I spent a lot of time prepping this up. You can see I had a slight little ankle roll there, and so I decided to just do a little check-in on my ankle and do some rotations to kind of let it relax. Just, always be aware of your body. Right here, what I did is I was letting my feet be in the position they're going to be in at the end of my cartwheel. It's kind of hard to see in that clip. You might have to go back, but I had my feet turn in the direction that they're going to be at the end of my cartwheel rebound because I really needed to just understand that position as I'm doing my twist. On every single one of these here, again, I'm just focusing on the heel drive, driving my heels over the top and feeling that pull me through the movement and let that really lead me through the skill. The more I emphasize that, then the easier it is for me to go through the rest of the skill and do the cartwheel full. There I was kicking a ball away from these kids that kept on letting it kind of fall into my court area, and I didn't like it, so be gone, red ball. As you can see here, I'm landing a lot higher in this cart full, and a lot of that's because I'm really letting my heels pull over, and I'm getting my set stronger, so I'm going higher, following through a lot better with my spinning mechanics. I also changed the way I used my arms, where now I'm bringing them out to the side more instead of over the top like I normally do, and that's been helping me a lot. And then I just felt really good about my swipes. I did a lot more of them today, and I'm getting it more parallel to the floor, really emphasizing that bridging position as I bring my foot down to post and go over the top, and that has helped tremendously. What I wanted to do at the end of my training here was just do some nice swings and kind of let my shoulders open up. Anytime you can go back to basic climbing as if you were a monkey in a tree, that's going to actually help your shoulders recover. So I just spent some time doing this, and honestly I should be doing it more often to have healthier shoulders. And then I wanted to finish off my legs, so I did some pistol lunges here, pistol squats. I did this on an angle, so it's easier for my dorsal flexion. I don't have the greatest dorsal flexion. I have an impinged right ankle, and other than surgery, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. So doing some pull-ups here. It was kind of funny when these kids came over that was kind of stronger, and he kind of wanted to do some pull-ups with me. So he jumped up there and started going along with me, and it's kind of funny. At a certain point here, I noticed he was doing that, kind of had a smirk on my face, like, okay, kid, let's go, let's do this. And then what I decided to do to kind of taunt him is I hung from one arm, and then I looked at him and just said to him, I can do this all day, man. And then it was funny, he said, so can I. I was like, okay, well, let's keep going. So then I kept going, and sure enough, he eventually stopped and he dropped down and went away. And I hung on one arm again, and I said, thanks for playing, as he went away there, and I continued my workout. It's just fun to do that when you're, in good shape, and you're you notice that these kids are kind of being inspired by you, and they can see that you can take things to another level. So, and then finally over here, I enjoyed doing those push-ups so much from earlier in the week. I decided to add a few of them to the end of my routine here, except this time I added a one-arm bridge toward the end to kind of get that last little open position and kind of finish off the shoulders once again. So thanks everybody for following along. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, feel free to ask down below. Have a great day.